People often ask, is the Queen going to abdicate? And in my view, no. The only way the Queen would step down would be because she became incapacitated and she wasn't able to fulfill her role. And the reason I think that is because, first of all, the Queen is a devoutly religious woman, and in her view, she took her oath before God. She swore to serve all the days of her life. Her famous 21st birthday speech in South Africa, she vowed to serve all the days of her life.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service.
She takes her role incredibly seriously. Now, we're definitely going to see her step back more and more, but not to the point where she's obsolete, not to the point where we just don't see her at all. But we are seeing Prince Charles and Prince William, as for example, step in and do more investitures, because investitures are exhausting. You're standing on your feet for a long time, you're having to interact with a lot of people. The Queen isn't conducting international trips anymore. Understandable at almost 93 years old, but she is still going out on the royal beat. We still see her conducting engagements. Just recently, she conducted her first engagement with Kate, where it was just the two of them. She had done engagement with Kate, with Philip before, and with Kate and Camilla before, but this was the first time it was just the Queen and Kate. We'll see her at Trooping the Colour, we'll see her at Remembrance Sunday, but we'll see these roles start to adapt. Just 2 years ago, it was announced that the Queen was no longer going to lay her wreath at the cenotaph on Remembrance Sunday. And everyone sort of stepped back. They're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Is she abdicating? Is she stepping down? But no, I just think she's recognising her advancing years. She's recognising that it's really difficult and heavy to hold one of those wreaths and step backwards and not tumble, because of course a tumble at 92, 93 is very bad. The Queen is smart, she's recognising what she's able to still do, and she's very slowly just giving over more of her responsibilities to Charles. And yet you can still hang on to the fact she's still Queen. She is still the top dog. She's not giving over everything. She's just sort of starting to share the load, and that makes perfect sense. The world will never see as fine a diplomat as the Queen. She is just remarkable when it comes to dealing with people from all walks of life. She knows exactly what to say. She knows exactly how to handle any situation. She's able to diffuse political eruptions. Even when the Scots were looking to have the referendum to separate, they even were like, oh, but can we hang on to the Queen? In Ireland, where there have been, of course, tremendous political problems over the years, even Martin McGuinness, he said the Queen is untouchable. So I think that really speaks volumes when you've got people that are staunch anti-monarchists, but they're saying, but the Queen is kind of in a world of her own. That speaks to how brilliantly she has conducted her role. She will leave the single greatest blueprint of any other monarch because she has handled herself so beautifully. She's managed to walk the political divide where we don't know what she's thinking, but she's still not alienating anyone with how she's conducting herself, and that's incredibly difficult for a head of state that has not been elected. She knows just exactly what to do, when to do it. Yes, of course, she's made mistakes, she's human, but she's learnt from those mistakes, and that's an impressive quality as well. So we are starting to see Charles take on greater responsibility. We're starting to get a sense of what kind of king he's going to be. And I think Charles is in a tricky position because he's 70 already. It's not like he's going to have years to create a legacy. The Queen has set records that will never be broken. But I don't think people should discount Charles. He's proven already how forward-thinking he is. He was preaching the dangers of plastics 30 years ago. People have finally caught up with him. He was preaching religious tolerance 30 years ago. People are finally catching up with him. But I think Charles is going to be keen to make his mark in as subtle a way as he can, because he still wants his reign to stand for something. But it always strikes me as a bizarre mind game to think you only get this job for which you're destined, for which you were born for, because your mother passed away. And I don't know how you ever make your peace with that, because people will say, oh, he must be so ready to be king. Well, yes, I'm sure he's ready to make a mark, but I'm sure he doesn't want to do so at the expense of losing his mother. So it's a tricky balance. But I think where we'll see Charles really make dramatic differences, I suppose. People talk about his coronation and how he'll be head of the Church of England once he is king, but he's talked about wanting to include multi-faith references in his coronation because, of course, when the Queen was crowned, in 1953, when her coronation occurred, England was a largely white Anglican community. It's not anymore. It is a multicultural, multi-society, multi-faith community, and our royal family needs to reflect that. And so I think we'll see the coronation adapted to include people of other faiths as well. And I think that's where Charles is going to want to make a difference. It'll be in a subtle way, but it'll be in a way that means so much to the people of the UK, and indeed around the world.